like to call this meeting to order. Today's Tuesday, the 7th day of May. This is the Weber County Commission. I'm Commissioner Jenkins. To my right is Commissioner Harvey. To my left is Commissioner Farrar. We're wearing our hats today and to make note of the fact that this is the week to celebrate the Spike 150. And these are the hats that are available through the Commission and the Ogden Convention Visitor Bureau that are historically correct off of the picture that was taken. I want to call the attention to the fact that John Bond has his hat on. John, it's good seeing you today. Thanks for wearing it.
With appropriate period attire.
Yeah,
Look at that.
he's in period dressed. Look
Yes.
at that.
Yeah. Official.
Man, looking good. Well, we'll start this commission meeting today by having an invocation by Cassie Bybee, pledge of allegiance by Chief Roundy, and I'll give a thought of the day.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we come before Thee at this commission meeting with gratitude in our hearts for the opportunity that we have to be able to serve the people of this community. We ask Thee to please be with us this day and help us to make wise decisions and help us to be able to show gratitude for those who have gone before us and helped pave the way and set the rails so that we could have Ogden become the city that it is today and have this community thrive. It is because of those that have gone before us and things that they've set in place and that we are able to reap those benefits. And we are grateful unto them when we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You know, my thought of the day, you know, something was said this morning in our previous meeting about the fact that there were very few in the room that were alive 50 years ago when we had our what's 100 year? Centennial. Yeah, centennial. Well, I got thinking about that and I thought, you know, that's true. Well, that'd be kind of true today here. I can see a few out there that might have been alive 50 years ago, but many of you were not. And the fact is, we're excited to celebrate the sesquicentennial of the joining of the rails. So this is a big week for us. Also, I wanted to mention the fact that we just finished a period of time that we had some issues out there with flooding. And I think we've dodged a bullet this year. Now, we still have a little ways to go. The Weber River at our end, the lower end here, gets 2 pushes a year. One is off the Ogden, and we're just passing the peak on that. In fact, Sunday night they turned the head gates of the dam down, and they're going to start putting the rest of the water on top. So that was good. Well, the second round is the first or second week of June, and that's when all the runoff out of the High Uintas comes, and that runoff will go into the Echo Dam and Rockport and up there. So we will see a high water mark yet. We just hope not at flood stage. So we're grateful to have be in a position where we could work our way through that without any major damage. So that was really good. Very good. So at the beginning of our meetings, we have a point that we come to for public comment. A lot of people are coming to address the commission, and we want to make sure they get first chance at it. So if there's those that have come to address us today specifically on whatever you'd like, please feel free to come up to the lectern here and comment to us, and you've got 3 or 4 minutes. Now, get up. Looks like nobody's come to address us today. Very good. Then we'll start down through our agenda. First item up is a presentation by John Bond on Spike 150, and it looks like he might have brought some helpers.
Which way shall I be here?
It's up to
Which way
you.
would you like to be?
If you're going to stand that way, just bend the mic back toward you. There you go.
I've had a chance, thank you for letting us take a minute here in today's meeting. I've had a chance to join the executive committee of the Spike 150, and so I bring greetings from the directors, Amy McConkey and Doug Foxley and Spencer Stokes and others who appreciate all that you as commissioners are doing to help make this sesquicentennial, this 150-year celebration for the railroads possible. If you don't mind, I'd like to recreate, rather, what happened here on Monday morning, March 8th, 2 months earlier, 1869 in Ogden. So just take a minute for that. Is that okay? So, track layers, crowds, a military brass band, banners, the artillery blasting, 5 speeches, 3 cheers, of course, 3 cheers, and of course the shrill whistle of the steam engines. Joseph Hall wrote through the Salt Lake Telegraph, at 11:20 o'clock this a.m., the Union Pacific Railroad track layers heaved, laid, hove inside of the city, and from that time continued their march with great rapidity. They were coming through Echo, down through Weber Canyon, and had just broken out through by Valley Nursery, through that area, and were coming toward Ogden. And that's where they were marching through. They got 5 blocks into the city. The citizens exhibited the liveliest enthusiasm and testified the liveliest of joy as from high bluffs and every commanding elevation they feasted their eyes and ears with the sight and sound of the long-expected and anxiously looked for the fiery steed. Our excellent military brass band soon sent forth their soul-enlivening strains of rich music. At 4 o'clock, the public stand was erected along the train track, which was just down here where it is now, on Wall. At 5 o'clock, the procession was formed, which consisted of the mayor, members of the city council, the various schools, and teachers, headed with banners. The banners said the following: "Hail to the Highway of Nations. Utah bids you welcome." And "Welcome to Utah." So these are actually the words that were on the banners everywhere along Wall Avenue in that area. The banners flew every 25 feet, said "Welcome to Utah" on it. The artillery arrived, and a salute of 21 guns was now firing, whose deafening echoes vibrated through the mountains, hills, and valleys. At 5:30, the rails were laid to a point in the line with the tithing office street, 5 blocks north into the city. At that time, Honorable Farr, mayor of Ogden, gathered the crowd. F.D. Richards then spoke. He spoke of uniting the Atlantic and the Pacific, open up to the commerce of the nations, to facilitate and shortening of the trade routes from India, China, and America. I'd like to mention at this point that there were 5 speakers that day, and my great-great-grandfather, Major Seth Blair, was one of the 5 that spoke that day. And what an honor it is for me to be one of his great-great-grandsons to be here today. Also, as another note, my grandfather also retired from Union Pacific, as did my dad. He spent 47 years with Union Pacific Railroad. So, great-great-grandfather, Seth Blair. He grew up near Davy Crockett's kids along the Tennessee, along the Mississippi River. Was a Texas Ranger with Sam Houston. Came here and was appointed by President Fillmore to be the U.S. Attorney for the territory, and was just in the middle of everything. So he spoke. One of the things that happens during this meeting is they provide 3 cheers. Now, I don't know that we do this in meetings very often. May I gather us together with 3 cheers? Basically, we're just going to go hip, hip, hooray. Got it? Okay, practice. So, the Star Spangled Banner was then played by the band. Then 3 cheers for the Great Highway was now proposed and given with the wildest enthusiasm, and demonstration of joy prevailed, and loud shouts rent the air. So, hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Amid the alternate pealings of the artillery thunder, the music of the band, the long continued shrill whistle of the 3 engines. How we doing?
I think you need to try that again. Some of these guys didn't have their whistles.
Okay.
Okay, now go.
Colonel Little then spoke, then Major Blair. Next spoke in his usual happy style, advertising to his predictions long and often uttered that sooner or later the shrill whistle of the steam locomotive would be heard to echo through these mountains, and now in his 51st year he has seen it fulfilled. Long live the Major, even 51 more years. He was very eloquent and entertaining.
Do that whistle again one more time, John.
You ready?
Very good.
What a day, what a crowd, what a parade. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Thank you.
Thank you very much. Boy, nothing like putting us in the spirit of things here.
If you want to go to the website, Spike 150, you'll find other events that are going on here the next 3 or 4 days. Just enjoy and have a great week. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is exciting. It's a good time to be alive. 150 years. Thank you very much. All right. Next items are our consent items. We have requests for approval of warrants 1783 through 1792 and number 438990 through 439149 in the amount of $2,990,288. Request for purchase orders in the amount of $102,553,000. Request for approval of ACH payments to the U.S. Bank in the amount of $171,627 for our P-card transactions ending April 25th. Request for Weber County Human Resources for approval of the amendments to policy 2-300 on recruitment and selection. This is Sarah's issue that we have dealt with earlier. We've been through. Request for approval of amendments on interlocal cooperative agreement by and between Weber County and paramedic services for Roy City, Weber Fire District, and Ogden City. Request for Weber County Information Technology Department to approve surplus computers and computer equipment, and a request for Weber County Sheriff's Office to approve for approval of surplus 2000 Yamaha 4-wheeler and a 2001 Hallmark V-nose trailer. Is there any questions, Commissioners? Ricky, do you want to go ahead and give us your 2 bits on the payables? And
You bet, I'd love to. So we issued only 7 purchase orders this week for $103,000. 61% of that, or $63,000, is for the elections office, and that is to purchase electronic poll books. 15% or $15,000 is for the library, and that is ground maintenance services. 11% or $11,000 is for the Golden Spike Event Center. That's primarily shavings that was purchased there, and 10% or $10,000 was for the ice sheet, and that will go towards concessions. As far as checks, we issued 170 checks this week for $2 million. 39% of that amount, or $824,000, is our employee health and dental insurance. 12%, or $261,000, is transportation money that's gone to the 12th Street stormwater and utility build-out, as well as to 1100 North. And then 11%, or $223,000, is for ramp awards that went to 4 entities: the Dinosaur Park, Pleasant View City, Ogden School District Foundation, and the Eccles Community Art Center. And then 7%, or $144,000, is maintenance for our financial software package for the county, the annual maintenance.
Questions? None. Okay, I'm open for a motion.
Entertain a motion to accept the consent items as presented.
Motion? And a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Unanimous. Action items, request for approval of final reading of an ordinance of the Board of County Commissioners, Weaver County, governing the use of bilateral contact tracks. Devin Anderson. Devin?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
We talked a little in our meeting this morning earlier. I was talking about you and the presentation you gave us on the history of certain pieces of property around the county and how impressive it was. It was a dang good job on that.
Well, thank you.
Bet.
This ordinance, we've discussed this before, and it's been through a first reading, but it's just an ordinance that adds a couple of documents to the exemptions of what's not required to go through the bilateral contract process. Those are documents that we regularly use in the surveyor's office, including deeds and agreements that we have with property owners mainly. And this has been 3 weeks now since the first reading. We haven't had any feedback or comments back regarding this language, so I ask for your approval.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions?
None.
We've talked about it. And, okay, I'm open for a motion.
Mr. Chair, motion to approve the final reading and ordinance of Board of Commissioners governing the use of bilateral contracts as presented by Devin Anderson.
Second.
Ordinance 8,
Ordinance number 8.
Commissioner Harvey,
Aye.
Commissioner Faur,
Aye.
and Chair Jenkins.
Aye. Thank you,
you.
Fatima. Thank you, Devin. Next item is a request for approval of an interlocal agreement by and between Weber County Metro SWAT and the Weber Fire District, approving tactical training EMTs to the Ogden Metro SWAT team. Brandon Roundy.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I'd like to request for approval for this interlocal agreement. This is a renewal, and what it does is it provides medically trained personnel that's their everyday job, and it allows us to cross-train them into SWAT tactics and so that they can function in the arena of SWAT. It's beneficial both for the public agencies in that cross-training and that relationship building, but it's also beneficial, even more so beneficial for our citizens, is that they're able to get medical care when the scene's not quite yet secure and other medical agencies are unable to respond in. And so with that, I'd like to request your approval for this interlocal agreement.
Thank you. Commissioners, comments?
Worked good in the past, and I appreciate you bringing that before us again today.
I'm open for a motion.
I'll move that we approve this contract or this interlocal agreement by and between Weber County, Metro SWAT, and Weber Fire District, providing tactical trained EMTs.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Unanimous.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Chief. Next item is request for approval of a resolution. County Commissioners approving participation in a multi-county appraisal trust in the Utah County's indemnity pool as a separate county related to entity members. John Ulibarri.
Good morning, Commissioners.
John.
Thank you. I'm here this morning to request that Weber County sponsor MCAT, otherwise known as the Multi-County Appraisal Trust, so that the trust may purchase liability insurance from USIP. There's no financial obligation to the county. It's just USIP rules require a county to sponsor clients who are not an actual county. Happy to take any questions.
Questions, Commissioners?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, John, explain this to me a little bit more. So I understand MCAT very well. So what is exactly, why do we need the resolution? Because I thought we, as a county, are already a member of MCAT.
Yes, no, this isn't for membership in MCAT. So this is so MCAT can purchase insurance from USIP. So if the board members, they're traveling to a meeting and they get in some type of automotive accident, that they're still covered.
I get it. Okay. Doesn't change our composition of the board on MCAT or anything
No.
with MCAT. Got it.
Well, and what's required here is required for a member to sponsor
Yep.
somebody who's not a county.
That's correct.
And so that's what this is approving.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the multi-county appraisal trust for the indemnity pool as a separate county-related entity as presented by Mr. Uleberry.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
It's a resolution.
This is a resolution.
Resolution 27, Commissioner Harvey.
Aye.
Commissioner Faur.
Aye.
And Chair Jenkins.
Aye.
Thank you,
Motion
Commissioners.
passes. You bet. Thanks, John. Consideration and action on a request to amend the conditional use permit for the Village at Wolf Creek PRUD. Steve Burton.
Hi, Commissioners. So you don't usually see conditional use permits. They don't usually go before you. They're usually handled by the Planning Commission. In this case, where we've got an amended PRUD, amended site plan of a PRUD, that is required to go before you. So what we have is a development called the Village at Wolf Creek. It's been around since 1996. These specific lots that we're dealing with are the multifamily lots. There are other lots that are single-family dwelling lots that aren't being changed with this application. So the changes that are being proposed here are fairly minor. The applicants would like to narrow the roads a little bit so they could get their multifamily buildings in there a little easier. They're also changing the location of public utility easements, as well as their landscaping plan. And so what I'd like to do is just maybe give you the recommendation of the Planning Commission. This went before them back on April 24th. April 29th. So I'll give you their recommendation. The Ogden Valley Planning Commission on April 29th, 2019 recommended approval by a 4-1 vote of the proposed amended PRUD, which is CUP number 2019-04. This recommendation for approval is subject to all review agency requirements and based on the conditions that are outlined. And if it'd be okay, I'll just go over those.
Please do.
1, any proposed outdoor lighting will need to comply with the Ogden Valley outdoor lighting requirements as listed in the Land Use Code. 2, the applicant will be required to install or escrow for the proposed improvements. 3, screening for all outdoor dumpsters will be required as listed in the Land Use Code. 4, the applicant will be required to submit a landscape maintenance plan prior to approval from the County Commission. They have done that, and that is in this packet for you. 5, that the developer work with staff to deal with pathway access and trail access so it meets the intent of the general plan and existing pathways to provide pedestrian connectivity, and we've taken care of that with them as well. So I'll answer any questions if you have any.
Commissioners, any questions?
I don't have any. This is, you've done a good job for me, bringing me along the way with this, and so I appreciate that and understand it.
Thanks.
Is there anybody here representing the Village at Wolf Creek that'd like to speak? Don't see any. All right, I'm ready for a motion then.
I'll make the motion that we consider the action to amend the conditional use permit at the Village at Wolf Creek PRUD.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Very good. It's passed. Thanks, Steve. Item 5, consideration and action on a request for a final approval of the Cameron Village Cluster Subdivision. 27-lot subdivision, including a subdivision improvement agreement with a financial guarantee by and between Weaver County and Hamblin Investments. Felix Leverino.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's great. Hey, good morning, Commissioners. And what we have before you is a cluster subdivision, and it's in the A1 zone, so it's out in the western Weaver area. And the developer here is here with us today, Mr. Jason Hamblin and his father, Doug Hamblin. And so today, what we're actually looking to get approval for is escrow money and also approval for the remaining improvements. What I've done is I've brought a couple maps to kind of show like the development, and then we can go through those maps, and if you have any questions after, we can definitely field those and answer those to our best ability.
Felix, too, if it's easier for you, want to turn that lectern around, you're welcome to. Everybody's coming up to the,
Yeah.
it's up to whatever you want to do.
Yeah, maybe I'll flip it out. That way at least I can have some.
Watch the mic jacks at the bottom.
I know, that's what I was afraid of. Maybe I'll disconnect everything. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Good. Okay, and so what we have up on the screen now is the actual dedication plat. So this one, it actually lays out the lots, lot numbers, area being dedicated to the county. It also shows open space areas. If you can see there, you've got 3 open space parcels. And what it does is if you combine the area from those open space parcels, it equates to roughly 30%, which is the minimum required for a cluster subdivision to be preserved as open space. Within open space parcel B and A, there's some detention basins, and that fulfills the requirement for every development, every subdivision is required to be able to manage stormwater and also to distribute that stormwater into storm drains or however, that way it doesn't pool up or pond up. So I'll go ahead and go to the next image. Do you have any questions on this?
Could you slide that up so we can see the rest of it? We want to see part of this subdivision. There you go.
How's
Thank
that?
you.
So how many lots here?
It's 27 lots.
7.
Mm-hmm. And they range from 15,000 square feet all the way up to, I think,
Close to
like
18.
20,000 or so.
Mhm.
Any questions on this one before I move on to the next one?
So I do have a question.
Okay, sure.
This is in West Weber County.
That's right.
So how come we allow 30-acre lots here
In this case,
and 100-foot frontage?
it's because the developer has provided open space and they've gone with a cluster type development. They've also provided amenities. In this case, the amenities that they've provided is a public trail, and they've also met the purpose and intent of the cluster code.
So this open space, who owns it?
The HOA,
So they'll maintain it,
that's right.
they'll take care of it, and the trail.
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
That's my question.
Questions?
Yeah, Felix, so
Go ahead, Dave.
I go back to the open space. So what's the plans with the HOA? Is this just going to be a park area? Exactly, going to be playground? What's their proposed use for the open space?
Yes, so I actually brought a map showing exactly what, that would be part of the landscape plan, so I'll bring that up right now. So as you can see there, we're showing the detention basins. We're also showing the path. It actually runs along that Hoopa irrigation canal that was buried.
Okay.
And it's showing a tot lot there on parcel, the largest open space parcel. I believe it's parcel B.
So it looks like a good share of that's going to be maintained as the detention basin area.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm okay with this. I have some concerns I've expressed before with HOAs and some of the open space, because in some cases it doesn't get maintained. It just turns into weeds and becomes really unsightly for the neighbors. In my opinion, we need to look at this in the future. If we're going to have open space, if it's not going to be maintained, it really needs to be agricultural use. Which lends itself to maybe even higher density with, obviously this is not an acreage amount that lends itself to be farmed, so it is what it is, but anyway, I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Very good. Does that end your presentation?
Yeah, if you would maybe just show one more slide real quick.
Please.
And then
Continue.
So again, part of the reason why I brought this one up was just to kind of show the detention basins and how they'll operate. You've got some inlets to each of these. So you've got the detention basin number 1 and 2. You've got some inlets, and then you've got through grading and through like a concrete, not a natural, but after constructing a concrete channel through that larger detention basin, the water will then be diverted to an irrigation ditch.
So that irrigation ditch, according to your drawing here, this is a 36-inch? Man, I can't read this very well. It's not real clear.
I can bring it in a little bit.
Well, it looks like it's a 36-inch concrete ditch that's covered. It goes down the middle of that street. I can't.
Are you talking about that runs diagonally across the development?
Isn't that where that detention basin runs into?
That is the.
Your drawing doesn't show that all the way down that I could see, but it appears.
Yeah, that's the Hooper irrigation canal that was buried.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good. Commissioners, questions?
No, I've got no questions.
Great.
Does the law allow us to run storm drain into an irrigation ditch?
You know, this was designed with the direction of the Weber County engineer, and so I imagine what they have drawn and shown to how it operates is lawful.
You know, it's interesting. Every ditch you run storm water into is a little different. Most of them are, in fact, drainage and land drain ditches, but a lot of them are not. And in this case, as you can see, this is really an irrigation ditch. So this water will, in fact, end up on somebody's property down in somebody's field later on, right?
That I don't know. Yeah.
Guarantee it does. So I have a hand behind you. Is this the owners of the property? Care to come and comment?
Yes, it is.
Please, come forward. Good to have you here today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Could you state your name, where you live?
Name's Doug Hamblin. I live in Layton, Utah, 2335 East, 2400 North. Just a clarification on the detention basin. Up to this point, we've had it designed and in for over a year. We've never had any water in the bottom of it. So it's a very mild slope, and I would imagine if we had a 100-year storm, we probably could have some water in it then. So it's going to be a very usable park, you know, where they could play soccer, whatever it may be that they want to do with the park. But the water that goes out of that detention basin actually goes into the, let me see if there's I can't see the road, but 4065 West, it goes out, then it heads to 2200, so it does not go into the Hooper irrigation. It goes out to the drainage that's on 2200 south.
Very good.
And then it goes out west, and so it does not, I don't know what you want to call it, but it does not go into the irrigation ditch.
Thank
I
you.
just want to make that clarification.
Yeah, we appreciate the clarity there.
Okay.
Hold on, were there questions, commissioners? Either
My only question has to do with just making sure, as Commissioner Farrar already pointed out, that the HOA is formed and they take care of those spaces. I know that you've complied with the regulations that are in the current code, and this meets those regulations, but as you, Commissioner Jenkins, and you, Commissioner Jenkins, have said in the past, it has to do with those spaces and maintaining them, and I think that brings us back to where we need to look for the future on these things,
Yeah.
because it'll be interesting to see in 10 years or 15 years what this is. And by the way, I noticed where you were from. It'd be a beautiful subdivision to maybe relocate your family, just putting in a little bar.
There's a possibility of doing that. You know, and as we look at that HOA, we are going to have a company manage the HOA. We've put a lot of time and money and effort into designing an HOA that has some teeth in it. And so when we turn it over to the people who live there, that's going to be ran by it. And we're going to design it and landscape it so it's something that the community is going to be proud of. And I believe the residents in there will utilize it. There's a nice walking trail that it goes around that whole park, and it ties into your sidewalk system. So
Sure.
it'll be nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Hamlin.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate that.
Appreciate
Felix,
it.
thank you.
Appreciate that information.
So, with presentation's been made, now we're looking for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I would move to approve the request for final approval of the Cameron Village Cluster subdivision, 27-lot subdivision, including the subdivision improvement agreement with financial guarantee by and between Weber County and Hamblin Investments.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's been approved. Thank you, Mr. Hamlin. Felix, thank you. Next is a request for contracts by and between the following people for the production of the Ogden Musical Theater of Peter Pan. Starts with Corey Lamb. Well, in fact, are you ready to make this presentation, Cassie? Go ahead.
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This is for our production team for Ogden Musical Theater's production of Peter Pan. And so Corey Lamb would be the sound designer. Hayden Wadsworth is the lighting designer. Derek Myler is a music director. Alicia Kondrick is the costume director. And Jay Bradley Howell, assistant stage manager. Lindsay Garside, hair and makeup designer. Elizabeth Williams, our stage manager. James Christian is the director this year. Jessica Merrill, choreographer. And then Michelle Castile will be the production manager.
Big names on there. Those are some
Yes.
names that have got some experience to them right here in Ogden.
Absolutely, they do. In fact, Jim Christian, Jim Christian, he is actually was with Weber State, ran the department there for years, and he is actually an equity director, which means that you pay. It's like a union that you pay a little bit different dues and things, insurances and things. He directs shows. He's in Arizona directing a show right now. He'll come and direct ours. Then he's off to back east directing shows. He goes all over the country directing theater. So we're really, really lucky and grateful to have him directing this show for us. It brings sustainability, and it lets the community realize that this new musical theater company is what's the word I'm looking for is here to stay.
This is its, commissioners, man? This is its third year?
Third year.
Starting with, we had Annie Get Your Gun, and then
First we had Joseph.
Joseph and the
Technicolor.
Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat before that.
Yep.
This will be a fantastic thing. So it's in its third year. We've got great community partners with America First Credit Union and others that are joining us with this. And I would, if you're ready for a motion.
I am ready.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we request the contracts for the following designers and managers and choreographers as stated in item number 6 of H like Hotel on our agenda.
So I have a motion for approval of contracts
Second.
and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Very good. No opposition. It's approved. Thanks, Cassie.
Okay.
We appreciate it. Good luck. I'm
Thank you.
excited for this one. This is always a hot item, hot ticket, Peter Pan.
Yeah, it is. It'll be a great show. Encourage everyone to bring their friends and families out to it.
Yeah.
It opens July 25th and runs through August 10th.
Oh, nice.
So,
It's exciting. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'll just stay here because I have
Bet.
like 2 or
Next
3 more.
one is approval of contracts signed between Weber County and the Utah Festival Opera Company for set rental for Peter Pan. Go ahead.
Yes. So the Utah Festival Opera Company is a company up in Logan, and we are grateful for the relationship that we have built with them and their support. Their stage is about literally very similar to the same size as the Perry's Egyptian Theater stage, and so they have the area to build a lot of sets and all your scenery and things. And what we've found is that we can go there if they have that available for one of the shows that we're doing, and we can rent that from them at a significant reduced cost. So we've kind of partnered with them. I will say that they rent all over the United States to different theaters, their scenery and their equipment, and they've partnered with us, and they give us an absolute really good deal because of the location that we're at. They don't have to ship it. They can bring it down quickly, and we've been up there and seen the backdrops and the scenery and what they're providing, and we couldn't even begin to bring in the supplies to build the pirate ship for the amount of this contract. And it includes the pirate ship, it includes all the proscenium, all the backdrops. It's just an absolute beautiful set, and they, before they deliver it, they actually have their staff that actually touch it up and fix the scrim. We went up and looked at it, and the scrim needed some work and things, and they do all the touch-ups and all the painting prior to bringing it to us. So that will be minimal build that we'll need to do. We'll still need to build a few pieces with a carpenter and things, but it'll be minimal compared to what we would have had to do for the set.
That's great news, Cassie. That's great news. Very good.
It's a very efficient way of the county dollars and stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then we trade each other's, events or, musicals and our performances in each other's playbills, and we partner that way. Just really, really a great company to partner with.
Mr. Chair, would you like a motion?
I'd love a motion.
I'd love to do that. I think one pirate ship in northern Utah is all we need, so I'm going to move to approve the contract between Weber County and Utah Festival Opera Company for the set rental for the OMT's production of Peter Pan.
Second?
Have motion is second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's approved. Thank you. Next item is request for approval of contract between Weber County and ZFX Service Agreement for flying assistance for a cast member of the OMT production Peter Pan.
Yes.
Yeah, this is something I was going to ask you about, but it's right there.
Yes, so what this is, there's only actually 2 different companies. One's Foy and one is ZFX that actually can come in and fly the actors. And we've been working with ZFX because they were lower cost-wise, cost savings again. But they will fly Peter Pan and, of course, Wendy and the Darling children. When we approached Jim Christian to direct one of our shows, he said, his words were, he said, I've always wanted to do Peter Pan in that theater. And that's kind of what sold him on coming and being our director this year. And he said, with the atmospheric ceiling and everything, he said, we need to fly Peter Pan. So we're excited to be able to do this. So we were hoping to have a flight go out a little bit further, but because of safety reasons and ZFX, and maybe they'll be able to change that when they come on site and see it, but with all the measurements and the pictures and everything that we've shown them in communication, we're not going to be able to fly him clear across the audience, but we do have definite other flights that he will be doing. So we're excited about that.
Really exciting.
That's fun.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready for a motion.
I'll entertain a motion that we approve the contract between Weber County and ZFX Services for flying.
Second.
Very good. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. And last for Mrs. Bybee is a request for approval of contract between Weber County and Elizabeth Smith to secure for Kids Act Up this summer theater camp director.
Yes, so Kids Act Up is a summer program, a 2-week summer program that feeds right into the Ogden Musical Theater. And that begins on June 17th and runs for 2 weeks in June. And last year, Liz was our director for Annie Get Your Gun, and she's coming back and going to direct the summer kids camp. And we've secured the rights for Peter Pan Jr. So the kids will be doing a smaller version, a 50-minute version of Peter Pan. So they'll go through a 2-week camp. They're in every day from 8:30 to 1 p.m. For 2 weeks, and then at the end of the 2 weeks, we do a performance. And we do this in the daytime, and we've invited Weber County employees over. Last year, we reach out to like Market Star and some of the other businesses in the area and say, if you want a great lunch hour for your staff, invite them to come and see the musical. The kids put on this musical because it's always fun for the kids to have a large crowd to perform for, and it worked out very well. So that's what we're doing this year is Peter Pan Jr.
Question?
No questions, but Commissioner, I have just a comment. I saw the production last year. It was absolutely the feeling and watching these kids come out of their shell. You know, so often we see baseball camps or football camps in the summer, or all different types of camps that people go to. But this theater camp is truly phenomenal. It's grown the last 2 years. I'm sure it'll grow again this year. It's just a wonderful thing for people or kids who want to get into theater. It's a fantastic thing for youth, and we're lucky, very lucky to have something like that here in Weber County. Our neighboring counties don't do anything like this. This is really a jewel, and I would encourage everyone who ever views this video to go see this OMT, this summer camp. Kids Act Up.
Kids Act Up.
Fantastic.
It's on Ogden Musical Theater's website. They can still sign up. We have, as of the end of last week, we had 33 kids registered. Wow. We take up to 45, so we still have some room available. We do get grants and funding for it, so we do have scholarships available for those because we want children to be able to participate, whether they have the ability to pay or not. And it's minimal. It's like, I think it's 105 this year for the 2-week program, and that gives them, I mean, not only the experience of working with a musical director and the director and a performance, but they also receive a snack, they receive T-shirts, Kids Act Up T-shirts, they're fed lunch every day. I mean, really, honestly, you can't do a basketball camp, a soccer camp, or even many of these other performing camps for as minimal as cost as what we have this and what we offer these kids. So it's really cool.
Where do they go to sign up for this?
They can go to Ogden Musical Theater, ogdenmusicaltheater.org, and right there on the OMT, the Ogden Musical Theater's website, there's a link right there for Kids Act Up, and they just sign up online.
Well, this sounds like a fantastic opportunity for the kids here in Weber County. I would agree with Commissioner Harvey. This is something very special for our children here in Weber County.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'm ready for a motion.
I so move that we approve that as presented for the Kids Act Up Summer Theater Camp.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. It's
Great.
approved.
Thanks,
Thanks, Cassie.
Thank
you
you.
bet. No negative vote there, so that was unanimous. Next up is a request for a right-of-way contract by and between Weber County and Roscoe Cunningham to secure the 3300 South rights of Way Corridor. Gary?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
No pirate ships or flying actors, but I do have a right-of-way contract for your approval and consideration. This is
Makes you
for
excited.
You know, you're kind of just vanilla compared to the last.
nowhere near as
That's
exciting,
right.
is it? But yes, we've gone through the proper processes. We've got our appraisals, and I have for your consideration and approval for Mr. Roscoe Cunningham for the amount of $40,200.
Very good. And these are out of our WACOG funds.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the right-of-way contract between Weber County and Roscoe Cunningham to secure the 3300 South right-of-way corridor.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thanks,
no
gentlemen.
negative vote. Thank you. That's
Thank you.
approved. Oh, we've got a lot going today. Next is a request for approval of contracts by and between Weber County and, I'm just going to let Jennifer present this. Jennifer Graham.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm here standing in for Ashton Wilson for the rest of these items. Ashton is at a Utah Association of Fairs and Expos workshop today. So, first on the agenda are just some of our standard kind of contract positions that we contract with yearly to perform duties at the fair. You can read them: the Junior Livestock Auctioneer, Dairy Judge, Draft and Pony Judge, Junior Livestock Auctioneer, which is on Saturday if anybody wants to come out to the auction, August 10th. Draft and Pony Announcer, Draft Pony Ring Steward, and the Weber County Fair MC. Just looking for approval of those independent contractor agreements.
Well, we've all been to the auction, so I know we know those guys, and they're pretty good. Any questions, Commissioners, on these others?
No, but I'm just going to quickly throw out that last year, Weber County residents and businesses supported Weber County youth to the tune of more than $600,000 in the raising of those animals at that auction. So August the 10th, on Saturday, August the 10th, I hope that we have even more support this year than we have in years past. It's fantastic for Weber County youth.
You bet it is.
With that, I'd motion that we approve the contracts between those as presented in item H, like Hotel 11, as presented by Ms. Graham today.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
It's approved.
Okay.
Jennifer, keep well, I'd better introduce it, sorry. Request for approval of contract by and between Utah Youth Rodeo Association for 2019, Utah Youth Rodeo Finals to be held at the Golden Spike Event Center.
Yes, this is going to be our finals, which typically are held during the fair, but this year we've moved them to the day before the fair, Tuesday before the fair. They're still going to be considered part of our fair, but this is a little bit of an attempt to help with some of the parking issues that we have. So,
This is a program, Commissioners, that was started 25 years ago out at the Golden Spike, well, actually 24 years ago at the Golden Spike Event Center, where we had hoped that the youth of Weber County would participate in rodeos at a big arena, kind of like a youth basketball team going and playing at the D Event Center. Our hope was that these kids would do very well in the high school and in college and move on to the pros. And now, 24 years later, we lead the nation in all of those activities in rodeo. But this is a fantastic program, and with that, I'd move that we approve the contract. If you're ready for a motion.
I am.
I'd move that we approve the contract between the Utah Youth Rodeo Association for those finals to be held at Golden Spike Event Center.
Second.
Very good, I have a motion and a second. I agree with Commissioner Harvey. This is exciting that we do this and promote this. We'll call the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It passes. All right, Jennifer, next one up is a request for approval of a contract by between Weber County and Wooden Creations for wooden sculptures to be created at the 2019 fair.
okay, thank you. Just another one of our return attractions. This gentleman, actually, we're able to turn around and sell these carvings that he produces, and so it's basically a wash. We actually make a little bit of money off of this. We pay him to come in and carve so many wooden creations, and he always delivers. In fact, he's got quite a following, I would say. So
I'm amazed. He sits there and does them live, right while people are watching.
that's right, yes, and it's amazing what he can see inside that wood and then bring out. So I'm just looking for approval of that contract.
So move.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the contract by and between Weber County and Wooden Creations. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Okay, next item 14 is contract by and between Weber County and Great Basin Antique Farm Machinery.
So this is also going to be an attraction at the fair. The Great Basin Antique Farm, typically set up in the center of the racetrack out in the cross-country course. And they're a relatively inexpensive special attraction, and they really bring some of that good old back to the farm vibe to the fair. So just looking for approval of that. That's an $800 contract.
Will these people be in competition with the local tractor club that always comes and displays?
It's the same club.
Oh, same club, one the same. Very good.
Yeah.
Motion?
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Next item is the approval of contract binding to Weber County and ACAPA Bareback Riders.
Yes, and this is going to be the ICAPA Bareback Riders. ICAPA is actually Apache, spelled backwards. So these are trick riders that are going to come in. They're going to complement our Indian horse races that we are working on very well. They will be providing 2 performances per day. So this is going to be a new little fun attraction during the fair.
We're excited about this, Jennifer.
It'll
We
be
went
fun.
up and watched those races in the Southeast Idaho State Fair. And I have to admit, that's the dangest thing I ever seen.
Yeah.
These people are crazy that do this, but of course that's what's so appealing about it. It's
Yeah.
fun to watch.
It'll be fun. Between the ICAPA and the Indian horse relay races, it'll be a good feeling.
Very good. So how about a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve a contract between Weber County and the Kappa Bareback Riders. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That passes. All right, Jennifer.
Okay.
Yeah, I should read that in, I'm sorry.
Okay, you're fine.
Contract between Weber County and the animal specialist to have animal exhibits demonstrating and have pony rides, educational displays, and a petting zoo at the fair.
Okay, so this is also a returning event. This is the petting zoo that sits in the west parking lot just by the business office. This petting zoo, and it's free for everybody that goes in to interact with the animals. They always get great reviews. We always have a lot of, the kids love this, and they always bring baby animals with them too. So we try to keep Jane Harvey away from the baby animals because she picks them up when she's not supposed to, but
That's okay.
but they're great fun.
Questions, commissioners?
Is this where the 2,000-pound buffalo goes to the petting zoo?
Oh, that's a possibility.
Okay.
Yeah, they
Never mind.
bring something different, so.
We could have that's another thing we need to look at. We have a particular commissioner who's got a fantastic bull bison that would be great to have displayed at the fair.
Probably wouldn't advise the petting zoo for this animal.
How about a motion?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the Weber County, contract between Weber County and the Animal Specialty Exhibit. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's approved. Number 17 is a contract between Weber County and hypnotist Sean Polson for the county fair. This is always a popular one, isn't it?
This is also a popular one, and we're going to try something a little different this year. We're going to move the hypnotist out to the auction arena and have it in that environment. We're going to build a little stage inside of the auction arena pit so that we can have a little bit different feel, and we're going to give that a try and also be able to utilize that building, which has not been utilized for much besides the junior livestock auction to the rear. So
Gonna pull the rails then?
we're not sure yet. Chase is working on it, so.
You know, it's interesting, I watched that last year, and those high school students, they get a kick out of
They do.
participating. They think, well, that guy can't do that to me. And he does it every time.
Yes, yes,
So it's really fun to watch.
yes.
All right. Motion
So moved.
and a second. I have a motion and a second to approve the contract between Weber County and the hypnotist Sean Polson for the 2019 Weber County Fair. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That's a unanimous. Thanks, Jennifer,
Thank
for
you, Paul.
presenting today.
Well, thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Well,
Wait a
Commissioners, that was a big agenda.
Big.
That brings us to the end of that. Is there time for comments? Commissioner Harvey, do you want to go first? None? No. It's not like you to be silent.
What's wrong?
Yeah. Commissioner Farr?
Yeah, I'm going to just say, this really is exciting. As I see these events that are upcoming, we have a big week ahead of us with Spike 150. To see the events through theater, through the fair, it just shows again that Utah's the place to be, and Weber County is the center of that, and we'll be the center for the future. So we've got a great place to live here, folks.
That's true. Thank you, Commissioner. You said it all. I don't even need to say anything after that myself. Amen. Okay. Amen. That's right. That's a good one. How about one final motion?
So move.
Well, you haven't said what it was yet.
I knew what it was, though. It's the final
Adjourn?
motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming today. Good having you all here.